that this is part of the language that we're going to use in this unit. So, okay. So we know, the trick that we're gonna do is we're gonna look at it on a grid like we have for all our graphs and stuff. You have the x-axis here, you have the y-axis here. 0 degrees starts at the x and it rotates counterclockwise, okay? Every 90 degrees, we call it a quadrant, okay? So there's quadrant 1, there's quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Everyone's seen that before, right? At least seen it, if not used it much. And every quadrant is 90 degrees, so it goes 0 to 90 to 180 to 270 to 360. If I just say 235 degrees, that means we have rotated in a positive direction, which is always counterclockwise, okay? So 235 is the rotation to there. It's where this line is. If I say a negative angle, that means we are rotating counterclockwise. So negative 247 would be there. If that's negative 247, yeah, 247, can anybody tell me what this angle is right here? If it's 247 all the way to there, and it's 180 to there, what's this angle? 67. Does that make sense to people? All right. Okay, so tell me where we end up for each of these rotation angles. 290 degrees, which quadrant will we finish in? Which one? Quadrant 2? Quadrant 4, right? 290 is positive, so we're going all the way around to there. What's this angle here? If it's 290 to here, that is 20, right? Because we went 20 degrees past 270. What is this angle? $70, right? Because each quadrant adds to 90, so it has to add to 90, and if it's 290 to there, it's another 70 to get to 360. This kind of stuff we're going to do a lot. It's just part of answering questions, like these little deducing parts. All right, negative 135. What quadrant do we end up in? Quadrant 3, because it's negative. So you rotate to there. There's negative 135. What's that angle there? How many more degrees do you have to go to get to 180? 45 degrees. 750, where do we end up? Sorry? Number 2? Well, it's 360 around once, 720 for twice. So we'd end up in the first one, right? Yes? What's this angle here? 30 degrees. Because it's 720 around twice. Going once, going twice, so we go okay. Okay. Tell me which quadrant we're in if I give you the point, -3 and +4. 2, because x is negative, so you went over here, -3, you went 4 up, boom, quadrant 2. What about -7, -2? Quadrant 3, because they're both negative, so you went -7, -2, boom, there you are right there. Quadrant 3. Okay. Are we okay with that? All right. Coterminal angles. All that means is you end up in the same spot. So if I say draw angle 150 degrees, which quadrant do you finish in? Quadrant 2, right? Because we're not quite at 180. So we're somewhere there. That's 150. This angle would be 30. Another 30 degrees would get me to 180. Okay, perfect. Now, if I said -210 degrees, where do you end up? Same spot, because you're rotating this way. It's 180 to there. You go another 30. That's -210. These are coterminal angles. 210 and 150 are coterminal angles because you end in the same spot. That's all it means. Okay. If I wanted another angle, I could just take 150 and add 360 to get to it. And that would rotate all the way around from that point. And I could do it again and again and again and again. You see my point here. There's an infinite number of coterminal angles. Okay? And all coterminal means is you end in the same spot. Good? All right. All right, reference angles. This is important. This is not the other stuff isn't, but this we are going to use all the time. So, reference angle, what that means is, well, we'll read it and then we'll sort of look at it. A reference angle is the acute angle formed between the terminal arm of the rotation angle and the x-axis. So let's break that down. What does acute mean? Yes, it means it's less than 90 degrees. If you're greater than 90 degrees, you are obtuse. Yes. Formed between the terminal arm of the rotation angle and the x-axis. Basically, if here, this is your rotation angle to there, your reference angle, sorry, always goes back to the x-axis. So this would be your reference angle. And I will always abbreviate it REF with a little angle sign. That is your reference angle. And reference angles are very important for this unit. So 243 degrees. Which quadrant do we finish in? Quadrant 3. That's 243. I want to know the reference. So I want to know this. The reference always goes back to the x-axis. Oh, and the other thing I should say, always positive. Reference angles are always positive. So what is that purple angle on this thing here? What is this? 63 degrees, right? It's 243 minus 180. I mean, you don't have to write this out to get 63 degrees. That is your reference angle. B, 337. Which quadrant am I in? Four. I've rotated 337 degrees. My reference angle is this bit right here, because it's always back to the x-axis or forward to the x-axis. Doesn't have to be back. What's that angle? 23 degrees. C, 70 degrees. What quadrant? 1. What's my reference angle? 70 degrees. If you're in quadrant 1, the reference angle is the rotation angle. Okay, you always rotate either back or forward to the closest x-axis. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 1, please. Oh, no, hang on. No, number 5, I think it's what I want you to do. Yes. Number 5. Doing reference angles.